So you got the jig made nicely, bolted. In the middle there is a plate to hold on in place. Also I'm gonna use it for, put the light on, to purge the manifolds inside when I'm gonna weld it. But for now it's just tacking this place on this plate, and just very simple, very basic, nothing special, just, you know, piece of metal welded together. But the important thing is it has to be very precise. So these clamps, these V-bands, they're exactly in the same position, same angle, same length, just spot on, exactly the same, just mirror it to the opposite side, so I can build this from this flange, same manifold, but obviously the opposite. And yeah, once you finish the jig, you remove the clamp, you remove the manifold, you put it back on, it should match your clamp, and yeah, it kind of matches. So it's pretty good, is it? So yeah, but now I kind of forgot that I actually haven't made the second mesh collector. So back on the lathe, back on the machines, and make a second one, weld it up, chop it, put the V-band on, put this here, clamp it, and then I can build the second section. Today, yeah, probably. So let's do it. There you go, machined and welded up the second mesh collector, completely identical to this, in identical, just mirrored position, same angle, facing same way, everything's gonna be spot on. So yeah, now it's time to cut some straights, like this one here, that one, this one, because we have to make it pretty much identical. So I got to reproduce all the bits I cut for this, and then all the angles and all the bends, blah blah, and through this flange. Once I got this done, I can disassemble them and start welding them up. And remember, the way I weld them up is just I leave one runner only on the mesh collector, which usually is this one, the first one, the most simple one, with the less welds. So it means it's gonna pull the less, and it's gonna change the mesh collector less than if I would weld these two, because they're slightly longer, they have more welds to do. And same on this one, obviously. Well, I'm a little tired, to say the least. I'm knackered. It is only 8:15, but I started very early today, and yeah, that's enough. Can't do it anymore. So there you go. We have half of the manifolds mocked. Remember, this is a 6-cylinder each side, so there's only half of it, and it's only mocked. And now we have to take it apart and start welding it. Obviously that part fits perfectly. Just to make double sure, I have to fit this part, just to make sure there's no any pipes or anything. I did already looked and it's good, but you know, make double sure and check it again and again. If it's all good, then put it back in. I got the jig, so I know the places it can't move. If it moves, I can put it back in place. And now removing this one, weld that one on, and then that one, and so on. Once we've done this, we put it back in the car and we mock up the second half of it. And yeah, I should be excited, I should be happy, because I think it looks good. It's fairly alright. It's not completely equal. This bend is slightly higher than this one, but it is extremely difficult to get it completely identical, because these bends, they're not all the same. You just can't have it completely identical. It will cost me way too much time to have it like spot on, everything like mirror identical. But this is close enough. I think this is good enough, I would say. So this is what I wanted it to be. I'm happy with this. So yeah, tomorrow another day, and we start welding this up. And we have to do it properly as well, purge it inside and everything. So far there will be no gaps. These first two runners, this one and this one, on both sides, they all spot on. The last ones, they not. This one is out because I want to weld the first initial part, because it's gonna be pulled. It will pull that direction and then match it with this one, possibly grinding off, just like, you know, just matching the surface perfectly. Same with this one, a lot of welds here, so you see it's not just perfectly on. It doesn't matter for now, because it will be broken here, it will be broken there, welding this part, and then like on this side, matching this part to this part and to the flange, to make sure there's no mechanical stress, to make sure there's no gaps, just match it perfectly before finishing to welding. Right, so morning after, a bit more positive, a bit more energy, because yesterday I was knackered. And yeah, I put the manifolds in the van, put the turbos on, made sure everything is alright. I didn't film it because I simply forgot. And now the first one is getting bad. Like I say, I broke it in pieces. The second runner is here, there you go, so we don't scratch it. The third runner is here with the last band not welded on, because we have to make sure they match perfectly. I want to do it later. This one obviously is waiting for his turn, and this one is being welded now. This is blocked, and then we have a purging from where that pipe goes inside that runner, and then purge the gas and weld all of this here. Yeah, I'm gonna weld this one on as well, but I have to clamp the flange first onto the jig, which is here. Don't need this anymore, I can break it because I only made one. If I fold this, I may ask them to do 2 of them, but again, jig is not needed anymore. I've built both of the exhaust manifolds, the first part of it, so this is not needed anymore. I can just remove it and use it to bolt on the flanges, and so I can weld them. They don't warp, they don't pull. And plus, it helps to distribute the heat through both of the flanges, it is slightly better. So yeah, welding time. Right, I'm not sure if the camera is gonna pick this up, focus or not. Hopefully yes, but I don't know if I can do something about it. No, there you go. But this is exactly why you put this groove inside. You see, cut these grooves on the pipes, and that's why I cut them. One of the reasons I cut them on the lathe, to make these grooves. I match them the same as on the bends, you see. So you fill up, first of all you start penetrating from inside, so you penetrate the material, and then when you add some filler, you fill that up completely. So usually it's pretty much at 95, 98, nearly 100% penetration, not all the way through, but nearly. So it helps a lot, quite a lot. Otherwise you have to use more heat, more amps, and it's just not worth it. So that's why. Oh yeah, and the gas going from here, obviously getting out from here, because nothing is sealed, so we got argon inside, no oxygen. So on the other side, all this welds, because obviously the metal is melting from inside the pipes as well, is not being contaminated with the oxygen and all that stuff, so it's still nice and flexible stainless, and you have no cracks. And then imagine, once this is welded, it's not being held from this side or from this side, from the flange and the merge collector. There's no stress. You weld it up, let it cool down, it will take its shape and put it on the cold rest of the exhaust manifold, so no mechanical stress that way. Right, so now this one is welded up completely all around, and we have to wait till it's nice and cold, because obviously now it is very much expanded because it's hot, and once it's cooled down, pretty much same temperature as the rest of this, we put it on. And if we have to shave any of one of the ends or both of them, whatever we have to do it, match it completely, weld it to the merge collector, weld it to the flange, and so on. So from this point it's going to be pretty much boring, because it's pretty much exactly the same until we encounter some issues. Like the third runner, for example, is very long, so once welded is going to change the position a little bit, and then you have to match that last bend. But I'm going to show you that anyway in a minute, so there you go. I like the fact these pipes are polished, because you can really see the colors around. I don't know if the camera picks it up at all or not, but you know, you can really play with the colors, trying to get a gold and blue, some purple sometimes. There's a bit of red over there and purple. Now, is this a good weld? Yeah, it is a good weld. Is it a perfect weld? No, absolutely not. Don't be fooled. It looks good, but the blue, the purple is kind of contamination with the oxygen. That's why it takes a color. It's only in surface, so no problems, it looks good. But the perfect color is when you have no color. It's kind of like goldish or the same color as you see here. For example, you see this bit here is like very bright goldish, or pretty much almost the same color as the pipe with no heat in. That is a perfect color. That is a perfect weld. Obviously we don't try to do it. We're trying to give them some colors anyway. First of all, because you spend less gas, you go slightly faster. Second, the contamination is only in surface, so no harm. It's still as strong. It looks good. Everyone likes to see them, all the colors, you know, blue, goldish and all that stuff. But again, that doesn't mean the weld is perfect. It's actually not. I would say is 99% good. The 1% is a compromise to make it look good. That's it. That's the truth behind it. All right. Okay, so fun factor. Let me show you. I was talking about the mechanical stress, how much this pipe pulls. Now in this one actually put slightly bit more than I was expecting, because I'm using a little bit more amps than usual. However, I want to show you inside the pipe what I mean by 99% penetration. And you can actually see the weld actually going through the other side. But you see, it looks like you welded it from inside. I don't know if you can see it. There you go, there. It's not always. Some bits even inside there, you see. There's like some spots the welds are going through, some spots they're not, and they prevent from the pipe to melt all the way down and just pulls different ways. Now another thing, let me just turn the light off. Remember, this one was fitting here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, there you go, still recording. So this one was going inside this flange, and it was actually on one side. I said there's a bit of a gap there, there's a bit of movement, like a 1 mil. That's the play we have into these bolts, and I put it outside so it can actually move it in. So let's have a look at the result. Let's have a look how it matches now. Okay, this is all the pulls that the welds cause it. Let's put it in here and let's have a look there. Look at that bastard. You see, it doesn't fit anymore. You see how much it pulled? About 3 mil at least. Now probably what you would do, you just put it in, you know, like this, so it kind of matches. It disaligns a little bit. You pull it on this side, you put it over there, you just fill that gap in between. You know, it's not gonna be aligned perfectly. You fill up the gap. What's the worry, right? Can't do it. I have to align the pipe completely perfectly as it was before. Measure what's the gap, machine a bit of, I would say I can probably do it by, this is about 3 mil, 3 to 4 mil. I can machine a 4 mil one, because it's gonna be, because it's so thin now, it's gonna get so much heat into it. It's gonna melt very quickly because it's small amount of material. So if I need a 3 mil, I'm gonna machine a 4 mil one. I'm gonna force it in. When you weld, it's gonna pull, and it's gonna be about 3 mil roughly. You know what I mean? Again, it's a guesswork, but that's what you do. So that's what I'm saying. You can't build the exhaust manifold, the whole bit together, and then just weld it. Shit is gonna pull. Like, you got 6 runners, and they all gonna pull on each other massively. That's why you break them. Doing this way, a bit more work, but guarantee it's not gonna break. So there's your perfect example, you know. Nice. So let's machine that bit, put it in, force it in, get some heat, and weld it up. And then we have the second runner. And that's what I'm saying. This is why this one is not welded completely, because it will change. So yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than it seems like. Well, it's not, just the right sequence of doing this. Can't rush it. I just had a phone call from I think from Ireland. A guy was like, "Oh, is this your asking manifolds?" I say, "Yes." "Do you do exhaust manifolds?" I say, "No, I don't really do them anymore." In mid-time, because I had my headphones in, because I was on a conversation with a friend, say, "No, I don't do it anymore," while actually welding this exhaust manifold. So let me clarify this. I used to do it, okay, full time. I used to build turbo systems for race cars and competition cars, not only any other applications, just good quality turbo systems. I left that job. I don't do this anymore, all right? Okay, yes, I know I'm doing exhaust manifold, but this is one of job for a customer. Now I'm just picking up the jobs that I like. If I like the job, I take it, but I don't have to. I've changed my work. I decided to live completely different life. I don't take randomly just, oh, build me an exhaust manifold. I don't do it anymore. This is a part of a bigger job that I took over because I like the craziness of it, and that's it. So I apologize if there was a misunderstanding, or if someone thinks it just I can do it for job. I don't anymore. So, but I show you how to, so you can do it on your own. Well, kind of. Right, just quickly another thing to show you the way I weld these runners up, because I did show this on the exhaust system, on the fringe exhaust system. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen the video because that one has pretty much none views for some reason. I don't know, it's probably boring. However, back to us. So what I do, let me just show you. I do like one pass, which is this length, one pass over here, one pass over here, one pass over here, and so on. So pretty much I do one pass each gap, let's call it this way, okay, and then walk my way down. The reason for that is because when I weld these pieces here, this is gonna get nice and warm. I cool it down with the argon shield, and it gets nice color. I move on. This part was slightly colder, so I move on and weld this one, and then let it cool down and move on to this one. Again, it's slightly colder. So each of these welds, I don't have already massively overheated material or heated up. It's just normal temp, let's call it this way, and so on. And then when I come back to this one, this has already cooled down. So the amount of gas, the amount of post flow I'm running is very stable. Every time is exactly the same. 8-9 seconds is enough. If you keep running onto one pipe all around it, you keep the heat, you keep the amps into one spot, and that pipe is gonna be very warm. So I'm not saying overheated, but you got way more heat. So each time to cool down that pass of the weld you've done, you need twice the amount of post flow of argon than in this case. Sometimes actually 3 times. What I do, for example, when you're running out the post flow, is like you finish the weld, okay, blah blah, and then you count to 8 seconds before 8, because now it's set to 8. At 8th second, you push it again just once, spark the arc, and you run another cycle of post flow, another 8 seconds. If that's not enough, you do it again. The main point is to obviously keep the weld shielded with argon until it's in a good temperature, so it's not gonna be overheated and all the stuff. So let's, for example, have a look on this. You see these welds here? These were the first ones when the pipe was nice and cold and very small heat, because I only tag them on this side strongly, because then I actually tag them on this side and start welding on the other side, opposite side, so they're not gonna open, because obviously it's gonna pull on this side and try to open on this way. So a bigger tag on this way, weld from the other side, and the welds are stable, the pipes are stable, they stay roughly in the same place. Yes, they pull, but they pull nice and straight towards the weld, so they're not going to generate any gaps, any mechanical stress. But you see how nice and gold they are. There's very little difference between this color and this color. And if you see the obviously here, when let me just put this on, so when there's much more heat, this one, for example, I'm not saying it was overheated, but it's like blue and purple, okay? So you can see the difference. They completely changed the color. That one over here, this one here, for example, was done before this one, less heat, okay? This one, these two, for example, I've done this one, and straight after this one, which is very close, it's slightly darker. But on this one here, for example, I've done twice the post flow. Otherwise, it will be completely blue, and a little bit too much of oxidation. Contamination with the oxygen, so a bit of too much color. This is how you control the color. You could do them completely gold, but you run a lot of argon. Now that's enough. I'm gonna back to weld, because I'm still having my 3 liters per minute argon flowing through the pipe. So the more I talk, the more argon I'm gonna waste it. So see you in a bit. Alright, so this is the third runner, which I left that bent out, as I say a million times. So let's have a look. I'll show you. Obviously one hand I can't obviously have it completely perfect, but let's just, I just want to show you how it matches now, because remember it was miles off. So let's have a look with the higher amps. Let's bring it up there to where it should be. All right, let's bring this one, sorry, I have to do it with one hand, bring it in a little bit, let me just move it. There you go, you see? Now it matches, and it matches there. This before, remember, it was like about there, about 5-6 mil out, and we've done what? 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 welds only, and it pulled that massively. Now again, it doesn't matter. It pulled massively more than us, obviously I thought, because I do more amps. It don't matter if it pulls this much, because there's no mechanical stress here. When you put it on, you're only doing one weld. You join it over there, you join it over here, and that's it. The stress of pulling the welds is minimal. It's pretty much nothing. So this is what I'm saying, you know, you make it slightly longer and then it matches. That one, the second one, was slightly shorter, little shorter than I supposed to do, and there you go, bites me back, and you had to put small insert in it. So yeah, this is how much it pulls. I bet you was thinking I was talking shit when I was bragging about this, like how much does it pull, you have to calculate because each weld pulls this much, mechanical stress, blah blah. But now you see on your own, and you remember how far this was out. It was at least 5-7 mil, about 6 roughly. All right, you're gonna put this back together. Just make sure it touches everywhere, because the last thing you want is to, I just show it on this pipe just randomly. This is not polished one, same pipe, some shadow 10 blah blah, but just not polished. Not only it has to be obviously touching on the body, but also if you have a gap on the bottom like this, it will pull that way, it will pull sideways, so you can't have it. It has to be straight like this. Now if you got enough length and it's like kind of a sideways, you just ground it a little bit over there, you just shave it off a little, making sure everything is touches around. I know it's a pain ass, I know it's time consuming, but a good job, when you're making a good job, this is the stuff that makes difference, the all little touches. There's no glory in this, I can promise you. No one will ever know. No one will see this stuff, no one will see the trouble you go through, because once you pull this big ass wide welds, it was gonna look the same. You're not gonna see it. You can't see inside the pipes. You will have to get the camera inside and see, oh, there was a gap there, they fill it up. That's it. So no one will actually appreciate it. Only you will know that you've done a proper fucking good job. And you know, if a customer one day calls you like, oh, you haven't done it properly, fuck off. Not possible. Just not possible. Simple. So yeah, do it proper, do it once. Maybe being a little bit over too much of a dramatic, like making more dramatic than it is. I'm just trying to stress all these key points when you build exhaust manifold, and in this case it's nice because obviously it's nice and polished, so looks very nice, looks very cool, you know, and I'm paying extra attention and made the flanges to match the ports and everything. So yeah, this is a nice one. Still hot, baked straight from the oven. Done. Now it's time for this bastard here, and this is only half of the job. Alright, so the one has been done, been stored away in a turbo box. The second one is going actually way smoother than the first one. I had the measurements right, so the first and the second collector was actually pretty much spot on. I didn't have to do any correction, not even in grinding down. Well, on the first one you don't have to, because this is, as a stage, you actually don't remove it from the mesh or from the flange. But the second one was surprisingly like pretty much perfect, so that's good, a lot of time saved. And now we have to do this one. This is the longest one. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 welds. That's gonna pull some proper, you know, hit, and yeah, it's not gonna be exactly in the places we want to, I'm pretty sure. But like I said, this one is actually done in pieces. This one is separate. Actually, let me take it off. There you go. This one, and also the last one, this one here, not gonna weld it. I'll leave it in 2 pieces because it's actually easier to do it this way, because I know how much in overall this moved now. I want to do this one first, and then this one too. Assemble them together in comparison to the last one, which is going to be here. So as you see, even when you welded it, even when you build it up, you actually haven't. That's just 90%. The last 10% is on the welding process. You still have to match them completely, and I can't stress this enough. They have to match perfectly. If you have to chop it off and correct it, do it. If you have to put another insert, do it. If you have to shave it a little, do it. If you have to rebuild it completely because you fuck it up, do it. Do not fill the gaps. Do it nicely, do it proper, do it once, and it will never fail on you. So that's it, I guess. Let's keep going. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I'm trying to get all the colors kind of like between the gold, blue and the purple. Nothing darker than that. Right, so the manifolds are nearly ready. You know what I'm saying, this is half the job. It's really not, because this part of the job obviously requires the position of the turbo, the position of the merge collectors, to build the merge collectors. So this is pretty much, I would say, more than a 3/4 of the job, because now it's only a matter of let's put it this way, of the flange on the back here and the 3 runners from the back here. But you don't have to find the turbo position on anything. It's just build the rest of the exhaust manifold. So really is like a 1/5 or even a 1/6 of the job left to do. Luckily they came out pretty equal. They're not completely identical. There is a bit of a difference between this pipe and this pipe. This one sits slightly lower, maybe, if you really want to be picky, but all the rest is pretty much identical. So it's good. I like these flanges. I like the way they weld. There's not much heat into them. I'm really glad I asked to design, obviously, to build this step on the top, so you're not welding them on a flat surface directly on the flange, but there. In theory, it doesn't seem to make any difference, but I paid attention, I actually did. And this one here, when I measured it, is completely flat, so I didn't pull anything. So like I said, there's no mechanical stress, no pulling. It's pretty good. So now we're gonna put them in the car, both of them, bolt the turbo on, just to take a couple of pictures and see. Obviously George is gonna pop down, so I want to show him how this is coming along. Hope he's gonna be happy. I think so. And that's it. They got plenty of colors. Have you seen it? You have to come over and see it, because to be honest, I've never done them with the polished pipes. Not this shadow, thin shadow, but you put less heat, so you have less colors. Never done in this thickness of the wall, and
no,
I think it looks pretty
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah,
really colorful, is it?
Yeah, really
especially
colourful.
if you come from, you have to see it from this side when I got the lighting, because you see this place is pretty dark here. It's like a bat cave. Yeah, I know you just discovered Batman, but yeah, if you see some light on there,
oh fuck yeah,
the mesh collectors and everything is like, oh,
proper art, that is.
yeah, I like it.
Fair play.
I like it. If I say I like it, do I sound cocky?
No,
like my
because
own stuff.
normally you're not like you're normally the other way around. You're normally really critical of everything
Yeah.
you do. But instead,
This one I did put some time in it.
and it shows.
And because I put some time to teach you how to do it, you know.
Now you can all do it.
Exactly. Exactly the same.
Put China out of business.
Oh no. No fair play, created the Chinese kids. When you complain this China crap is not crap anymore, and remember that kid is 5 years old, so if he can do it,
Yeah.
you can do it. Especially now as you know how to.
No, fucking nice.
Yeah, I like it. Almost forgot, this is probably good to do a comparison between the standard exhaust manifold, which this is actually complete, and this is only half of one of the exhaust manifolds, because again, there's only 3 runners, this is complete 6 runners. Yeah, but that's how it looks like. This is standard, and this is what is coming out. So, I don't know. Someone may say it's a big difference, someone may say it's not, but this is how it looks like. And if you wonder, the exit for the outlet from the exhaust manifold of this, the log style, that over there, is pretty much as a single runner on the independent individual runners manifold. I think that actually is pretty much it. Yeah, that is actually the diameter of it. So I think we're gonna have a little bit of less restrictions on these manifolds. Right, now quickly, just let me take you inside the van to show you how it looks like. And remember, obviously, on this side, the other bit is gonna be, can't even remember now. Yeah, something like this, the 4th. Well, the 4th is not really the 4th cylinder, but I'll call it just the 4th runner, because we got 3 of them, so simplifying. It's gonna be here. So this is how it's gonna look like. Plus the other 2, obviously. But turbos are on. Now we have to work out the waste gauge position. But I'm gonna finish the manifolds completely first. Let me just go inside quickly to show you how it looks like while we both symmetrical turbos. So one of them is a opposite rotation, because this is exactly what we wanted to achieve. A very symmetrical look. Plenums, they kind of were almost symmetrical. This one here is bit there, probably just because of the oil filler cap, which I would prefer to have that in a different position and have the manifold, the plenum exactly the same as that one. But again, not everyone goes extra mile to do a very nice job. Sure, not Bentley, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, these are the manifolds, and if you remember, well yeah, remember, I just showed you the standard one, and this is what we came up with. So yeah, I think we can easily say that we can push this to anything about between 9,000 and 1,000 brake horsepower easily. And but to be honest, it's not all about the performance. I mean, obviously yes, that's why you fit a Bentley W12 engine in the camper van, because it's not about performance. Of course it is, but it's not completely. When you build a turbo system, you don't increase the performance. What you increase the engine efficiency, the way the engine breathes in and out. In the consequence of that, if you're doing a good job, you increase the engine performance, because it can just perform better, because it's more efficient. So one follows another. It seems like the welds on the exhaust manifolds, you know, you see them, I like them, I think they look good. I'm not the best welder in the world, absolutely not. There's many people much better than me doing welding, because they do welds all day long, every day, from morning till late, and I don't. I do all general fabrication. It's like, I'm very passionate about my welding, but I'm sure not the best one. But that being said, if you do a good weld, it looks good as well. And it's the same with the engines. If you've done a good job, it gives you, obviously, it doesn't bite you back, it shows you the performance, because you made it working efficiently. And this is sometimes when I struggle with people, because sometimes ask me, when I used to build exhaust manifolds and well, turbo systems, people used to say, oh, how much is a turbo system? Whatever price. And it was like, well, maybe I don't need that, I only running 350 brakes. It really doesn't matter how much power you're running. You increase the engine efficiency, you make it run better, safer, cooler. Internal combustion is more efficient. So the internal EGT is gonna drop, the pressure on the gauge you see is gonna drop actually, which seems strange, and a lot of people are actually surprised by this. Why are you making more power with less pressure? But guess what? Pressure is only unit of measurement. Boost pressure, it doesn't mean much, it's about airflow, the air supply to the engine, and the air extraction from the engine. It means you have to replace the burned gases from the engine with the fresh air as soon and as quick and as efficient as possible. I'm the turbo engine. Lots of airflow, quite efficient. No pressure. Lots of pressure. No efficiency, no airflow. This is pressure. So, you got to be careful when you see this stuff. It's like, I would really encourage everyone to study this stuff because it's slightly better. I'm here! In a van!
Can I borrow a big mask set?
Hold on.